Well, it's finally here, the new season of One Piece, the live-action series, Season 2. And boy oh boy oh boy, does it turn out to be just as good as the last one. I haven't watched all of it yet, but it's shaping up to be pretty good. What I will say is the fact, yes, we have Chopper at last. Chopper, oh dear old Chopper, doing his doctor thing. And we even actually get something I never actually would have expected. He actually clicks when he walks. His hooves actually make a sound. Something we never got in the original anime. And we got Captain Smokey. Captain Smoke. And his smoke-based powers and his huge collection of cigars. He's been done right. And I'm surprised in the live-action version in the first season we didn't actually have Sanji with a lollipop. I thought they actually would try to reference that censorship gag. But I suppose they're being as original as they can. What I will say is there was this. We've had more of Monkey D. Luffy being absolutely Monkey D. Luffy and absolutely chaotic. Boy, he's very attached to his hat. We also have Nico Robin joining the cast as well. Basically, we're pretty much building out the main cast, including Vivi as well. Yeah, we pretty much got the main cast now. Luffy, Nami, Chopper, Sanji, Usopp. I think that's right, yeah, Usopp. Can I have the pronunciation right? Zoro, and Chopper. Yeah, that's about it, yeah. Chopper. Yeah, but we've got that. And, well, things have been shaping up. The fact, yes, we have King Boone as well, and his villain status. And yes, he has a devil fruit power, the ability to expand his massive metal jaw. Quite well for a man who literally probably ate his entire kingdom out of house and home. And the fact, yeah, Vivi's been at the loop for a while ever since she left her kingdom of Alabasta. She was supposed to rule, and now for a fact, they have to realize for a fact that once a prosperous land has now been stricken by pirates Blackbeard, and their king and the army didn't even fight, took everything with him and fled. And now he wants the chance to actually do it. And at the same time, our assassins of Baroque works. And yep, they're there, and we actually get introduced to several of them. Including one of them who only makes a one-note appearance, but the fact they do the same title card every time, just to prove they can. Yeah, that is brilliant. The same pomp and ceremony every time one of them is introduced. And at the same time as well. Yeah, Captain Smokey is a badass. He's able to defeat one of them relatively easy, although he does have to improvise. But he does win, and his assistant is not too bad herself. Given the fact that both of them are using two of Zolo's stolen swords to actually, well, defeat their enemies. And she's able to win without any kind of devil fruit power at all. She just wins by sheer audacity. And it's the fact as well, yeah, we know for a fact that each devil fruit grants a different power, and the fact they're all the same fruit. Which does make me a bit of continuity error, because in the original anime, the first pirate we meet, she knows what devil fruit is. But in the live-action first season, she doesn't know what devil fruit is, which seems a bit strange for a successful pirate. She would have had to have heard about devil fruit. I think everyone would have had to have heard about devil fruit in the One Piece universe. It's that legendary thing that can grant you a special power depending on what kind it is. Of course, you have to eat the whole thing. But we also, I think, learn as well, in something interesting, yeah, we know for a fact that kings, at the very least, or the rulers of the various kingdoms that make up the world in the world government, actually do run things. Of course, there's a lot of secrecy involved in terming on the meetings when the various kings and queens assemble for a council, but that's just one half of it. It seems like for a fact that that part might be missed out when it comes to One Piece, the actual anime, but still, it's a nice detail to have. And we also know as well that there's a lot of political tension within the world government, and we understand, like, I think basically what they're doing is they're taking different parts of the anime and actually merging them together into a coherent story, because we know for a fact our Vice Admiral and Gold Roger did actually swap a lot of banter when they chased each other around the world, or rather, probably back and forth. And now they've come to respect each other a great deal throughout their chases, both as enemies and quite possibly a modicum of respect that comes from two warriors who've sparred for years. And when he finally catches Gold Roger, the Vice Admiral can't believe he's actually done it, but he has done it, and at the same time Gold Roger asks the Vice Admiral to look after Monkey D. Luffy, who is his grandson. Keep looking after him, or at least keep an eye on him for some time. Of course, it never plays out that way. Monkey D. Luffy chooses his own path to become king of the pirates. And yet, the Grand Line scene itself, when they cross the mountains, is absolutely brilliant. The Going Merry is a caravel, a small ship. One main mast, one secondary mast for steering on the back. And they actually managed to pull it off. Of course, they do break the steering tiller in the process, given the fact it does take Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp, their combined strength to actually break it. So yeah, the Going Merry is at least well made. Very well made, in fact. But besides that, yeah, that was actually quite epic. The fact that both Sanji and Zoro decided they had to do their best to keep the ship on course. And at the same time, it was a very intense, very fun action sequence. Especially with Luffy, yeah. All I guess is the actor who plays Luffy, he should get a raise. I don't think I've ever seen a more faithful interpretation of the character, but at the same time, a more creative interpretation as well. He seems to take all the qualities of Monkey D. Luffy and dial them up to 11. He's done an amazing job of making Monkey D. Luffy basically pretty much as he was, but adding a lot of emotional layering that just makes him even more epic. And the fact during the crossing of the mountains, yeah, Monkey D. Luffy and Nami actually enjoy it. And then, of course, we go the way down and they end up in the belly of the whale. And Luffy meets the whale housekeeper. And it turns out for a fact, yeah, Monkey D. Luffy's powers actually have other uses as well. Okay, he can use them in combat by stretching, but he can also use them to do other things like steer. The castle scene, I think itself was quite funny, especially towards the end of it, when Monkey D. Luffy comes out wearing nothing more than a towel around his waist, wet, thinking for a fact he's going to be boiled in a pot. But I'm taking those stories a bit too literally. Yeah, but that was funny. That was actually quite funny as well. Always a thing for a fact, given the fact you had Nami basically starting to come down from her fever and recovering from her affairs on Lush Island, on Lush Garden, and then Sanji, who cracked a couple of ribs on the way up, basically probably resting off maybe some powerful painkillers. But besides that, yeah, it actually was shaping up to be very good. Just as epic as the original, we also learned a very good piece of lore as well. The fact they could go the calm route, but there's no wind there. That we basically be stranded, possibly at the whim of the currents, if there are any. And we also learned something else. Marine ships apparently aren't just sail powered, they might have some other engine, because it's the fact only they cross there, which means for a fact that if you're going to cross a flat calm, what you need is a ship with an engine of some kind. And it does seem right that they might actually, they do have electricity and other advanced technology, maybe the ships do have some kind of engine, but sails are used primarily because it's about pirates and the golden age of sail, so it has to be sail powered, but it doesn't mean for a fact there aren't modern conveniences, because this is anime, and you can take creative liberties. And it's very much the same here as well. Yeah, it's shaped up to be just as good as this first season, and very faithful as well. I just reflected in taking 2 years to get here, because we really should have been on season 3 if it's this popular. Well, what are you going to do? That's the way the scheduling works these days. Well, I've been the other channel. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio!